What up, what up? Hope everyone is doing well this morning. Definitely some interesting things to cover. It looks like the market's getting some momentum, setting up the live stream right now. So we'll go over to CNBC, and then once that's set up, we will jump right into it. But appreciate everyone for being early. And if you are, make sure to smash that like button.
Russia with U.S. supplied longer range missiles. Also, Russian President Vladimir Putin formally lowering the threshold for his country's use of nuclear weapons. Joining us now on this is Elbridge Colby, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. I guess, Bridge, good to see you. We'll start with these comments from Putin. To be expected, given that the Biden administration okayed the use of these, is this, the response that you would have? It's not necessarily a huge escalation, I would hope, from Putin, but just kind of a quid pro quo for that move.
Well, good to be with you, Joe. I think the lowering of the threshold by Putin has been in train for some time. It is quite significant. Suggests that the Russians may use nuclear weapons in a broader array of circumstances. It's not a dramatic lowering, but material. But, Joe, I would see Russia's response. What Putin himself has said in the past is there could be horizontal steps, for instance, aid to the Houthis, to North Korea, to China, to Iran itself. So and we'll see if there's further responses by Russia. There's also reports that there may be further sabotage in the North Sea, for instance. So I think that's the kind of thing we would expect.
So even though they use, the threat of perhaps a nuclear escalation, that's not really what he meant. He'll accomplish it through more conventional means that it almost sounds like an Iran proxy or something.
Well, there's that. But also, Joe, I think this is something to underline is how badly the situation is going. The Deputy National Security Advisor to President Biden said yesterday that the situation for Ukraine is extremely difficult. This is after 3 years of the Biden administration policy, and that Russia is continually upping the ante. And so I see the Biden administration's decision here, which is bizarre and I think inappropriate given it's in the transition period. The American people elected President Trump on a very different policy platform. It's kind of like a reductio ad absurdum of the Biden administration policy, because the New York Times is reporting that the Biden administration doesn't even think it's going to make a big difference, that neither the Ukrainians nor we ourselves have sufficient ATACMS in the inventory to really make a difference. And, the FT's reporting and other sources this morning that the Ukrainians have used it. The Russians have already moved a lot of their forces. They've adapted to this possibility. They're claiming they've shot down several of the ATACMS. We don't know. I'm not saying it's nothing, but it's a significant escalation on our part where we don't really think it's going to make a difference. And so it's, I think, a real, as I said, expression of the Biden administration's kind of symbolism over effectiveness policy that I think President Trump, we need to come in as soon as possible to deliver good results for the American people and, frankly, our allies.
What was the rationale then, do you think, that it's almost like a last gasp for sort of an all-in for Ukraine from this administration? Just to contrast it?
It's not even all-in. It's not even. It honestly doesn't make a lot of sense.
Symbolically, that's what they're saying. We're still helping Ukraine. Wait till Trump gets in here and pulls the rug out from Ukraine.
Yeah, they tied it to the North Korean troops, but I don't see how that makes a big difference. It's not really tied to that. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Frankly, I think the best explanation is peer pressure from the Europeans. I mean, you've seen the Secretary General, other European leaders talk about this. My own view is put your money where your mouth is. I mean, the Secretary General of NATO, he was Prime Minister of the Netherlands while was spending next to nothing on defense for 10 years. And if the Europeans think the situation is so severe, let's put their money where their mouth is. The American people, as President Trump has pointed out, have spent a tremendous amount of money in weapons, and despite a lot of rhetoric, the Europeans aren't doing it. In fact, the Germans and the French are cutting military aid to Ukraine. So what's happening here? So I think trying to make peace and getting the Europeans to step up is the right policy proposal, and I think that's what I don't speak for him, but what President Trump has expressed.
Bridge, was there a true shift in Europe from we need to see this through to, I don't know what the end ever looked like, but to now? Did they actually shift and say, okay, some type of negotiated peace settlement is in the interest of all of us at this point, whether it's ceding land that Russia already had? Did they really change?
I think you see that happening. In fact, Chancellor Scholz spoke with President Putin for the first time in a while I believe yesterday or the day before. So clearly people see the writing on the wall, and the war's not going well, unfortunately, under the Biden administration and its European allies. So I think people see that, and frankly, I think you're seeing movement from Kiev itself, from the Ukrainians, hopefully some receptivity on the part of the Russians. But if that's going to work, the Europeans are still going to have to step up to be able to support the Ukrainians.
You know Pete Hegseth, Bridge?
I know him by reputation, and I, certainly admire his service to our country, his commitment to President Trump's kind of America First foreign policy, his connection with service members and so forth. So, but we don't have a close personal relationship or anything like that.
All right. Do you expect you will?
No presumptions. I'm just excited. Look, I mean, I think that, Don Jr. actually put something out earlier today. President Trump is putting people like Pete Hegseth, who's very qualified, great American patriot, served his country, very articulate spokesman, but who are going to implement President Trump's own vision that he got elected on. There's no mystery here. And that's, I think, what people should key in on. I don't make any presumptions. I'd be honored to help contribute to that cause wherever I am.
Okay. Elbridge Colby, former. That was in the Trump administration.
Well, unfortunately, despite the fact that it looked like everything was going really well for the markets, now we have to deal with a potential nuclear war that Biden seems to want to start. So overall, I don't think it's going to get there. I think probably most countries see that Trump's coming back in and all this will get cleaned up. But there's no question that this is currently putting some pressure on markets, especially when you look at something like XRP. Share this real quick. We're watching this support. We want it to hold right now, but it looks like there's definitely some pressure coming in on market open because of some of the things we talked about in the intro, or showed in the intro, things like Russia escalation in the Ukraine war. The good news is I think a lot of this is short-term catalyst. I think it's more of like, hey, we got to deal with this for a couple more months until finally we can have someone actually negotiate to get us out of this mess. But I think the market's looking a little short-term right now, and this is definitely kind of dominating the narrative. I'm taking a look at all global markets right now, and everything seems to be taking a little bit of a beating. So I don't think this is going to be something that is sustained, but it's something we're probably going to have to deal with for at least a short term until Trump gets in. Daniel, good to see you. Daniel, I saw you texting. I saw you message me about Flare. I want to take a quick look at Flare real quick. Flare definitely made a very, very nice move. And to me has finally really confirmed the bottom has been in with Flare. So here's the Flare price chart. As you can see, we went on this massive parabolic rally. During that time period, Flare went up close to 500%. And then out of nowhere, it popped up again big. To me, this is just showing there's a lot of volume coming back into Flare. Flare is obviously looking very solid moving forward as a project. And I think we're pretty close to things like F assets and some other exciting stuff that can really add a lot of value to the Flare protocol, which right now we've essentially been waiting on for a while. I know Quant, I think, had a pretty decent morning. Yep, Quant back up to $90, so making a similar move to Flare. Just looks like it's Quant and Flare both trying to put in reversals after being sold down for a while. So Quant went extremely parabolic, sold off massively all the way down to $40, went back up, came back down, and now it looks like it's trying to get that reversal and get that momentum back going. Maybe not as strong as Flare yet, but still looking pretty solid. And then let's flip over to HBAR real quick. I know HBAR is putting in a pretty massive move. HBAR sometimes will put in these very parabolic moves and then get sold back down. So we're definitely hoping for something a bit more sustainable here on HBAR and see if we really can hold these gains. To me, it seems like HBAR has a lot of very good developments going on, and just waiting to finally see some of those really start materializing in the price, or with some sustainable price momentum, put it that way. Pull up the X chat real quick. Guys, if you're over on TikTok, if you're over on YouTube, make sure to smash that like button. Really appreciate everyone doing that. Gotta check X real quick because you can't. Don't want Mr. I giving me crap for not checking the X chat. So it looks like there's some issues on X again. I don't understand why this happens. Yeah, we're live on X, but it's not showing up in my profile. Weird. That's all right. We shall figure it out. HBAR and SpaceX, baby. Yeah, it's not a bad combination. HBAR and SpaceX. I personally don't hold any SpaceX private equity, but I think it's a very, very interesting proposition. Let's take a look at XRP real quick, because actually XRP is doing something very interesting right now. It's really respecting this range. It's really respecting this range, which is a good sign, because hopefully today we can make a push off this bottom and start really pushing back up on the top of this. Because like we said, we don't want to be playing around with the bottom or the support. We kind of want to be pressing on the resistance. So let's hope we can get some push up to the top of this range and start hopefully looking at a breakout. We still have some big catalysts. We need Abs, good to see you, man. I got to see Abs at XRP Unleashed this weekend. It was incredible. It was a really, really good time. EJ Liberty, good to see you. Brandon V. Brandon, we have some sell pressure coming into the market right now, because essentially the Biden administration is having one last ditch effort to cause a nuclear war. I can't see him overly worried about it. I think it's a lot of rhetoric right now, and things will get cleaned up pretty soon when Trump comes in. But right now there is some fear coming into the market because of that. I think we kind of pull out of here pretty quickly, though, as people realize that it's a lot more rhetoric and a lot more short-term issues than anything long-term. Tin2 XRP, it was a pleasure getting to meet you, man. That was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Really glad I got to see you. Taylor, I like the documentary a lot. Honestly, it was a lot more in depth than I was expecting. Like, I came out of that documentary learning a lot. It was definitely way over the head of some of the people I brought, but I enjoyed it a lot. It was way more in depth and way more granular than I was expecting, but I thought that they did a very good job. Bro, I'm still holding during nuclear warfare. Let's hope we don't have to get there. Let's hope we don't have to get there. Was I in the trenches for ETHgate? Yeah, I was always watching ETHgate. I was in the trenches heavy in the early days. I think I very quickly realized there was people finding a lot more information than me and kind of just let them have it. Money for beard oil. Love you. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate the $2 donation, brother. Yeah, it was incredible. Man, we need Brian Brooks at the SEC, because right now there's some speculation that one of Jay Clayton's cronies could be going to the SEC. We need to make sure that we get someone at the SEC who is not one of Jay Clayton's cronies. But with Elon Musk and Vivek in the equation, I think it's very unlikely we'll get someone like that. We'll see, though. I've tweeted out a couple times to some of these high-level people. You guys just know if you get a second. I tweeted out specifically to. I double retweeted the. Oh no. I tweeted out to Vivek and JD Vance. Tweeted out to Elon Musk. Tweeted out to Donald Trump Jr. So, if you get a second, make sure to go on X. And if you are on X right now, do it right now. Go retweet these, right? Like, I know people don't think these people will ever see this kind of stuff, but these people do. Just the other day, Elon Musk responded to me. So just got to do what we can to make sure these things get seen. I will say one of the interesting notes from the documentary was it looks like XRP Unleashed has been put in front of the Trump team, and they've at least seen the documentary. So that should, in my opinion, at least start to push people away from the Jay Clayton line of thinking and hopefully towards the Brian Brooks line of thinking. But just important to make sure, regardless, we're doing our part to making sure we're going to places like X and dropping retweets, dropping likes on posts like that. Because, right, if we can get the attention of even a couple people, it's going to make a really, really big difference. Really big difference. Take a listen to this. I probably have more Ukraine news.
I've been playing this round ball rock for a while, and it's pretty easy. There's a lot of white keys. And I said, shut up, kid, but they're all into it. The funny thing about all this is I don't think anybody would have predicted that Charles Barkley would be on ESPN, that Al Michaels would be on Amazon Sports, and that round ball rock would be back on NBC. It's like, it's dogs will be friends with cats. It's
all right. Apparently talking about pretty much nothing. You never know what they're going to be talking about on CNBC. Maybe there's some more interesting Ukraine news on Fox. I would kind of want to get a better look at what's going on there. It's definitely one of the bigger things going on right now. Did I hear correct that Ripple seems to be distancing themselves from XRP Unleashed? Ian, first of all, good to see you. And I don't know. I don't know how they would be distancing themselves. I mean, it does focus a lot on ETHgate and the SEC. So I can see why it would be potentially something that is just something that it's hard for them to get involved in. But also, Ripple's called out the SEC a lot on their own. So not really sure. I mean, Ripple can kind of do whatever they want, right? Like, it's just a judgment call on what Ripple wants to do. So, oh, here we go.
In October, we had Helene in September, and some of the Southeast may have been affected, as you'll see. Number 1,311,000 on starts at seasonally adjusted annualized units, and that follows a slightly revised 1,353,000. So we're down, 3%-ish? That is the lightest rate since July, and that July rate on starts, of course, was the weakest going back all the way to 2021. So we want to be very careful here and point out that, it's also between single and multifamily, 16 home sales due to interest rate levels and landlocked owners really have been underperforming. So, single family new construction has been kind of the star. The percentage of those homes has grown over historic standards. And if we look at permits, they were also down 1,416,000. That follows at 1,425,000. So less than a 1% drop, but still also the lightest rate since July. We want to continue to monitor this. And if you recall, close your eyes and envision a chart of 10-year yields and how they moved in October. They basically moved in October from below 380 to well over 440, to 420-ish. So we know that interest rates moved higher, and they continue to be the kind of linchpin of the housing market. We do see that rates haven't moved much, but they were already down coming into this number, Joe. 422 and a 10, that's down a half a dozen basis points, a very parallel shift on the yield curve. 10s are down about a half a dozen basis points as well at a 435 yield. And this consolidation we've seen in closing yields on long-dated treasuries is starting to slip a bit. We had 4 sessions in a row where we were closing between 442 and 445. Yesterday, we're a bit lower, and it looks like we're losing a bit of that momentum. It doesn't surprise me that 4.5 has been a bit of a breaker for 10-year yields, but I wouldn't look for a huge amount of retrenchment. Back to you.
Does it matter what goes on? Well, hopefully nothing. I thought it was a flight to safety from what's happening in, far, far away. That's not what's happening, right?
Well, I do think that there is some of that in there. And actually, with the counterfactual not known, what you bring up is a really great point. If we're hovering right now, still very close to the mid-430s in a 10-year with that effect in, what happens when it turns around a little bit? I just think that the scale of interest rates, especially from 7s out to 30s, has really stacked up a little bit. And I continue to point to the fact that 2-year note yields are going to reflect more of the sentiment of the Fed, even though they may not be easing as much as we anticipated, let's say, a half a year ago. I think that feel-good presentation that the Fed will give about the easing cycle will continue to keep short rates a little more well-behaved than long end.
Who'd make the best Treasury Secretary, Rick?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't gotten that phone call yet. I'm a little surprised.
I was wondering. I know. No, but who?
What a Treasury.
Yeah, out of the ones you know, is there one you want the most hawkish Treasury Secretary, but strongest dollar guy or gal?
Well, I just hope it's not a labor economist right off the get-go, I would think. I don't know. I kind of like our buddy, our old buddy from CNBC. I think Kudlow would make a great Treasury Secretary.
That's interesting. All right. Free markets, best path to prosperity. I say that a lot, too. That I got a little bit of it.
Absolutely.
I think he tried to trademark that. All right. Thanks, Rick. Diana Olick joins us now with more on those, not on the Treasury Secretary pick necessarily, Diana, but, if you want to opine on that as well.
No, I do not. I'll talk housing, though, Joe. How's that? Look, good. I want to continue on what Rick was saying about the mortgage rates during October. We started with the average on the 30-year fixed at around 6.2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care that much about that side of things. I would like to get more news on this Ukraine situation, but apparently, in classic American media fashion, no, it's kind of hard to find anyone actually talking about this right now. Over on Fox, they're not really covering much of that at all. So, I don't know. Keep the lookout. Keep our eyes on stuff. XRP still consolidating. Not much going on there. Wanted to share this with you guys real quick. I guess we'll take a look. There's actually a betting market for who will be the new SEC chair. So I want to take a look at that. Let's see, SEC. Okay. This is interesting, and now makes me question how accurate this is. So here's the betting for the new SEC chair. So Brian Brooks, number 1, Dan Gallagher, 2, Mark Ueda, 3, Paul Atkins, Hester Peirce, Chris, Jay Clay. Like, this list to me doesn't look that good. Not that it looks bad in a bad way. They just don't even have they don't even have the guy that so many people have been betting on could be one of the people. So it just doesn't seem like to me this betting market is very accurate because it's missing one of the most talked about people, unless that person's just not really Jay Clayton's friend. Unless this, like, how is Jay Clayton even on this list? Like Jay Clayton, Chris Concarlo, and Hester Peirce literally said it won't be them. So I don't know how much I trust this betting market, actually. I was taking a look at it yesterday, and I was looking at the top 3. But now that I look farther down the list, it's kind of like, I don't know. Seems like it has some probably outdated or inaccurate information on it, especially since the guy that everyone's worried about, Jay Clayton's friend, doesn't even seem to be making the list. Oh, Drop was listed on BitTrue the other day. Congratulations to everyone in the Drop Army. Appreciate the Drop Army for always showing up here. And because of this, I will give a little Little drop shout out. Why not? Take a look at the drop chart. Listed on BitTrue is definitely a big development. So congratulations to everyone holding drop. I really hope it's Brian Brooks. Taylor, the only thing I've heard about Brian Brooks is the problem with Brian Brooks is that means he can't go to the Treasury. So there's only so many Brian Brooks out there. Here's the drop chart, and this is something I've talked about, forming that nice rounded base. Looks very, very positive for drop, being able to confirm this rounded base and hopefully make a move to the upside. Yeah, Dan Gallagher would definitely be good. Anyone but Stebbins. Literally anyone but Stebbins. Literally anyone. And I was actually talking, and I don't even think Stebbins, like, even though Stebbins would be probably my last choice, I don't even know if he would be that bad, because here's the thing. Stebbins is going to be forced to do whatever Trump says, and a lot of these people are like chameleons, right? Like, they'll be anti-crypto, and then they're told to be pro-crypto, and they'll be pro-crypto. So Rosie Rios for Treasury Secretary. Let's run it back. That'd be so funny. If when she was working at Ripple, they put her at the Treasury. That's the biggest thing I'm hearing. It's like there's only so many positions Brian Brooks can be in. So obviously, I'd like to see him at the SEC. I'd like to see him at the Treasury. Candidly, selfishly, I think I would rather have him at the SEC. But I also understand people saying that he'd be better at the Treasury just because it's a little more impactful for the crypto industry. But I just want to be out of the Ripple SEC case. I want it settled, and I think Brian Brooks would do that. HKD Todd, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that. The Sheila Bear news is huge. You just mean her being on Ripple stablecoin team, right? Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And it's so funny that people have been so misinformed on Ripple for so long. Crazy. Crazy that some people can't see something that's so obvious. And Taylor, I'll share with the chat because now there actually is a couple people here. Hold on. There's actually someone else on Ripple stablecoin team, Taylor, who's also a monster. So I want to share who's on Ripple stablecoin team. If I can find it. Taylor, I miss the days when you could just have an ad blocker. Sheila Bear. Having a hard time finding the oh, there we go. A little bit of a misspelling. Un momento. Yeah, so Sheila Bear was former FDIC, specifically on their advisory board, and now is directly working on Ripple stablecoin. So she's a big one, but there's actually someone else I was more excited about. And I just can't find the post saying who's on Ripple stablecoin team. Oh, David Puth. Okay, so this guy, David Puth. Take a look at this guy. Un momento. There's a specific post I'm looking for. X's search tool can be so bad. It's so hard to find information sometimes. All right, well, here's David Puth. Oh, this is essentially what I was looking for. Here's David Puth's LinkedIn. So he was at the CME, JP Morgan, State Street, CLS Group, R3, Circle, Deloitte, Ripple, Pantera. So this guy is a heavy hitter as well. And to see someone with that much experience at these other companies, JP Morgan, State Street, Deloitte, Circle. Funny, he's senior advisor for both Circle and Ripple. So seems like a guy who knows what he's doing and how to get things done, which is great, especially for Ripple launching a new product. This guy's done it before, he's seen it, and he knows how to execute on this stuff. Number one in the AFC, absolutely. Absolutely. Big news on that front. Love to see my Steelers doing well. Lauren, absolutely. It was a ton of fun. Really enjoyed it and appreciate you saying that. I agree with that statement, Fozman. I agree with that statement. I don't think it's going to be tomorrow, but I think the general direction is that XRP will be a lot higher than most people truly think is possible. Roger, good question. The question is, what do I think about Charles and Ripple working together? I mean, I think it's cool. I'm not a huge I don't know, I'm not a huge ADA guy. To me, it seems more of like Charles wanting to hopefully get some of the XRP community over to ADA. I don't know. Just not overall that excited for it. Maybe something really cool is built there. But it's just like I would rather see some interoperability between like Solana and XRP, right? Because it's like Solana has a lot of people, or like Bitcoin and XRP, or like Ethereum and XRP. I can't say Cardano's at the top of the list, but it's definitely good to see as well. Sold your bag of ADA for XRP? Yeah, I've sold a couple of bags of spare coin. Last night, it's funny. Last night I was actually digging around and trying to find some old wallets and pull them and put them into XRP. Kremlin press secretary, Moscow realizes that Biden will try to extend the conflict. That's a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face. I mean, the good news is I'm sure they have enough common sense to realize that things are going to change in a pretty big way. But, I mean, talk about... Moscow Exchange says suspends trading on derivative market? What is going on? Things about to get crazy? What is what is wrong with the Biden administration? Looks like Federal Reserve news between Caitlin Long and them. Caitlin Long is fighting a very impressive battle for transparency for the Federal Reserve and getting cryptocurrencies rebanked there. Let me see if I can. I want to find some of this Russian news. Oh my God. Here's the video. Take a look at this. My assumption is that this is a real video. I can't really prove it yet, but take a look at this launch. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Everyone that stayed in the US and fought the good fight deserves to win. I completely agree. Oh, also Andrew Tate just won his case. So Andrew Tate won his case. Case is dismissed. So he's out. See what this is.
If the USA and UK launch a coordinated missile attack on Russia, destroying all major cities and killing President Putin along with the entire military leadership, Russia has a backup system in place for retaliation, the dead hand. This automated system is designed to respond to such a scenario. Sensors across Russia will collect data on radiation, heat, and seismic activity, confirming a nuclear strike. The system will then await instructions from Moscow's command center. If no response is received, Dead Hand will assume the leadership has been wiped out. At that point, the system will autonomously launch approximately 4,000 nuclear missiles at the USA and its NATO ally, triggering global devastation. Destruction will be widespread, ensuring that even in death, Russia retaliates. This kind of automated retaliation system ensures that no matter the outcome, the consequences of such an attack would be catastrophic. In the end, the use of nuclear weapons guarantees mutual destruction, a grim reminder of the fragile balance of power.
Damn, that's crazy. I actually didn't know about that. I actually had no idea that was a thing. Well, what an optimistic way to start the morning. Biden trying to put us in nuclear war. Like, can't you just... Maybe he should step down early. Maybe there's a case for him stepping down early. Looks like a large amount of Federal Reserve data was just leaked as well. So this should be very interesting. There's a lot going on this morning. Wow. Take a look at this. Finally, it's here. Searchable database of nearly 3,000 pages of Federal Reserve Board meeting minutes. I got through the FOIA, and I've just started to write about it. Here are the 3,000 pages. Is it all in one? Index of all minutes. How do I use this website? I just want to go in there and control F XRP. Oh, I'm only searching one subset. I'm literally searching before Ripple and XRP ever existed. All right, I'm not doing this now. Interesting though. I'm sure someone will dig into that. Roger, thank you so much for the donation, and thanks for throwing credit at Taylor for that. That was wild. Roger, when you started messaging me that Elon Musk had responded, I was like, what is he talking about? I was like, Elon Musk responded to me? I was like, no way. And only to have me actually take a look at it and be like, oh my God, he did respond. So crazy moment. Roger, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And Taylor, I appreciate you pointing that out. There's a chance I would have not noticed. So I would have noticed eventually, but it did take me a minute to actually be like, oh wow, that actually did happen. There's so much going on in the news right now. This is insane. Nah, it's like we had a lot of positive news recently, and now there's kind of a lot of negative news and FUD coming in. So I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a down day. And yeah, we actually have XRP and the entire market kind of making a pretty substantial move down. Unfortunately, it looks like XRP is currently breaking down. So we'll have to get some really positive momentum to snap back into this thing. It is possible though, we haven't seen this entire thing play out. It is possible that this could end up looking a little more like this. So we'll keep our eye on this. We haven't really gotten a big move yet, but XRP definitely is reacting negatively to a lot of the nuclear news as well as other world events. Fortunately, I guess that's what we have to deal with this morning. Can't ever be easy, I guess. Put Putin and Zelensky in the ring. Well, would be better than the Tyson circus fight. I didn't really watch the Tyson fight. I'm so done falling for these like fights being exciting. I felt like I was just like, there's no way this is gonna be good. I don't know. To me, I've seen a lot of videos that kind of make me question how real that fight was. Definitely some suspect pieces there. Should you sell now? No, you should never trade on this kind of stuff. Guys, headlines move fast. Headlines move fast, and tomorrow we could be talking about something completely different. So the market's not reacting in any substantial way. We're having like a short-term knee-jerk reaction from the market, but it's nothing overly substantial or something that makes me overly concerned. It's more of like, oh man, this is just going to be something we have to deal with in terms of a fear catalyst. This is pretty crazy though. It looks like Drop is actually getting a nice little pump here. So Drop is pumping. If anyone wants to figure out how to get some Drop, description in X, on my X page, there is a link for First Ledger. There should also be one in the description of my YouTube page as well. And I actually have a video on my YouTube page specifically talking about how to use First Ledger. But yeah, Drop is putting in a nice rounded bottom and starting to push up a little bit here. So this is interesting. Take a look at the entire market real quick and see if there's anything else pumping. No, it seems like in terms of the first page. There's a couple interesting things moving here, but Drop and Pepe seem to be the big ones. If you are interested in the link in my X profile, you can use my link to get over to First Ledger. Interesting to see that pumping, though, as XRP is kind of sitting in a bit of no man's land. So very interesting to see what takes place there. It seems like the XRP meme market isn't being impacted by a lot of these world events, which makes sense. Looks like XRP is actually trying to recover now. Getting our first green candle. And that's what I meant in terms of we don't yet really know where this thing bottoms. So we're just gonna have to feel that out as the day goes on. Maybe it looks a little more like this. Doge is up almost 7.5%. We can take a look at some of those other coins in the top 10. Doge is still below 40 cents. Yeah, Doge is consolidating. I'm a fan of Doge. I think Doge is going to do pretty well moving forward. It seems like most things are generally kind of down right now just on this Ukraine news, but I don't know how much longer that's really going to be a factor. Don't fall below $1 again. Yeah, I think it'd be great if XRP can hold that dollar region. I think that's kind of important for XRP to stay above. Listening from Dubai, very interesting. I've never been to Dubai. Always wanted to check it out, though. Employee of the month. Oh my, dude, Mr. I is too much, man. I'll share that. Yes. So this is what Mr. I made for me the other day. Little employee of the month black with this. I don't even know where he got this from. Freaking Mr. I, man. HBAR still hanging on. Yeah, I think the market will recover from this pretty quickly. If you have a big event like what we just saw with Ukraine and the market generally shrugs it off, like we did have some sell off, but overall the market kind of said, that's typically a good sign that we probably get a recovery at some point. Keep monitoring the market. See if we get anything interesting here. You guys see Trump is looking to buy Backed, or his social media group is looking to buy Backed? It's another small mini headline in this entire thing. I'm not a big fan of Backed. They don't really have a very interesting business, but that would be kind of like just acquiring Backed for the licensing. So if they were to do that, it would definitely be over the licensing. That's Mickle's fired up face on Ripple and XRP. Need to make a meme coin without. Oh man, don't say that too loudly, or there's gonna be a bunch of those meme coins up pretty soon. Shocked Mickle. No, that's funny though. Backed came up in the Eastgate days. Backed is also just like their company always had such a bad idea. Their company always had such a bad idea to it. So I was never a big fan of how Backed was operating. Their whole business model was like you can convert crypto to like Starbucks points. It's like I don't want to use my crypto to go pay for stuff at Starbucks. I don't know. The whole business model to me never made a lot of sense. The drop chart, keep a look on that. Looks like drop could be making a pretty big move pretty soon. So, Backed came up in the Eastgate days. Backed was, oh yeah, missing episode 18 for MIT session. I do remember that. I didn't realize Backed was a topic of discussion there. Don't bet against Trump. Well, I think Trump will make better use of Backed licensing than Backed was making use of their licensing. It didn't seem like to me Backed really had a good idea of what they wanted to do with their business. I am a Bitcoin OMG. Oh. Do you mean you're a Bitcoin OG? Taylor, that's insane. Let me. I need to see if I can change that. Like, I know I can turn them on. I think the more I message YouTube about it, that's so funny. They're like, screw you, Taylor. Like, add. I feel like it's so random. I feel like it's literally random. It's so weird who gets ads and who doesn't. People tell me all the time they don't get any on the live stream. Or I wish I could like turn off ads for members. I guess that's like me cutting a bit into YouTube's revenue stream. So I guess that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, drop looking pretty good. Kind of nice to have another, even with not a lot of money in it, it's kind of fun to have like another market just to watch on the XRP ledger because you kind of just get to make more XRP. Of course, if you're not losing on all the meme coin picks, you could also lose a lot of XRP. Crypto View. Oh, it was great to meet you in Boston and great to see some of the stuff you showed me as well. Awesome meeting you. Appreciate you coming out, and it was a ton of fun. Always appreciate getting to meet everyone and talk with everyone. It's always such a good time. XRP $2 before Christmas. Well, we got to get some better price action today because right now the price action ain't that great. But hopefully this is just a continued consolidation. And we really just need to see a move by XRP to get us back to about that $1.10 region. If we can do that, we'll be looking pretty solid. Brad Garlinghouse is coming out pretty strong against Jay Clayton's crony SEC friend here. So watching that. The SEC chair is probably going to be the next big catalyst for XRP, I would imagine. Crypto View. Take a look at Crypto View's comment. Take a look at Crypto View's comment. I don't want to say it on stream. Who knows what will happen, but take a look at Crypto View's comment. I'm not sure when I don't know the details on the documentary really, so apologize for that. I don't know too many details about that. John Deaton is coming out strong also. Yeah, I really hope. Look, my understanding is that a lot of these people have connections to the Trump team, and Biden official not surprised by Russia's nuclear announcement. What? U.S. indicates it won't respond, which is good, but like, why did... Man. Insane. Insane. Silver Days, good to see you. Thank you so much. Thursday drops for everyone. Okay, cool. Taylor. I'm convinced Taylor knows everything. Man, I really hope we get Brian Brooks at the SEC. I really hope we get Brian Brooks at the SEC. If Brian Brooks goes to the SEC, I feel like XRP is going to like $5. Like on that announcement, XRP is going to $5. Brian Brooks literally told John Deaton that he would settle the case overnight. Man, I really, really, really hope it's Brian Brooks. Literally, it would literally be the best thing we could possibly get, I think. Like Dan Gallagher, awesome. But like Brian Brooks would be like a home run. I wonder if I can find the video. Oh, I actually don't know if this was a video. I think John Deaton just said that Brian Brooks told him that he would settle. So maybe it was a video. Brian Brooks told Brian Brooks that he would settle the case. What are the odds on Brian Brooks? Well, we were looking at a betting market earlier. We were looking at a better market earlier, but I just don't trust this betting market because it doesn't even have some of the main people on it. So this betting market is saying 48% chance of Brian Brooks. But I don't know how much I really trust this betting market, to be completely honest with you. I want to trust it, but it's like missing Jay Clayton's friend, who everyone's scared of becoming the new SEC chair. So the fact that Jay Clayton's friend is even on this makes me question, like, everyone's talking about him being a real possibility if he's not even on this betting market. Like, good video of Brian Brooks. Was it the one I just shared? Debbins. RLUSD stablecoin soon. They're waiting for New York to approve, but from my understanding, it should be pretty soon. It won't be Jay Clayton's friend. The SEC won't be moving sideways. Well, as soon as every single time it seems like the SEC can't get worse, they get worse. So I certainly hope it's not Jay Clayton's friend, but wouldn't be surprised if the SEC made a move like that. All right, guys, I got to jump, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Covered a lot this morning. There's a lot going on. I think the market recovers